Vegan restaurants are closing, plant-based brands are struggling, anti-vegan influencers are dominating online. Is this the end of veganism? What's really happening behind the scenes might just change how you see the future of veganism. As we step into 2025, the narrative seems split. On the one hand, people are more aware than ever about how their actions impact animals. But on the other hand, we're seeing signs of trouble. Vegan restaurants are closing their doors, people are pulling guns on activists. Even the dairy industry scored a big win in 2024, banning the international plant milk brand Oatly from being able to call its products milk. If veganism is growing, why does it feel like everything's falling apart? I'm going to dive into the challenges and the breakthroughs to answer one question. Is veganism disappearing or transforming? And we're going to start by taking a look at the struggles. Hit hard by the rising cost of living and stiff competition from supermarkets and other better known brands putting out cheaper animal-free alternatives, many vegan restaurants and brands closed their doors permanently in the last couple of years. The post-COVID hangover hasn't helped either. With people eating out far less than they used to, it's making it harder and harder for niche businesses to stay afloat. Vegan products and businesses are largely kept alive by people who aren't vegan, environmentalists, health-conscious consumers, flexitarians, and people who just fancy trying something different. While this is a really good thing, unfortunately, it means a lot of these businesses and brands are relying on people who could drop them when things get tough. And that's what happened when COVID hit. During that time, many people went back to products they found more familiar and ditched the new animal-free alternatives they'd been trying. And then there's the media. During 2024, there were stories like this one claiming that vegans are killing themselves with ultra-processed foods, causing panic and confusion among the public. Now, it's never a good idea to pack your diet with high salt, high fat, high sugar processed food, but that doesn't mean that all processed food is bad. Take Huel, for example. It's a completely vegan all-in-one meal drink that is ultra-processed, but actually contains all of the essential vitamins and minerals that you need with low salt and low sugar. And no, I'm not sponsored by Huel. Yet. And then there's the dairy industry. Them successfully lobbying to stop Oatly from calling its products milk wasn't just a legal win, it was a sign that they see animal-free milk alternatives as a genuine threat. If vegans and vegan products weren't making an impact, the meat, dairy, and egg industries wouldn't be spending millions of dollars on trying to suppress them. But what about the public reaction? I mean, this guy pulled a gun on activists recently during a protest against foie gras, a product that comes from the brutal force feeding and killing of geese.
That's assault! That's assault! That's assault! That's assault! That's assault! That's assault! That's assault!
Now, it's been pointed out to me that maybe this guy was afraid. That's why he pulled the gun out. Lots of loud noises, lots of commotion. He didn't really know what was going on. Then all I'll say is I'd hate to be around this guy on New Year's Eve. This guy most likely had some personal issues that he's dealing with. The majority of people out there don't wish violence on vegans and vegan activists. But some anti-vegan influencers do seem to be getting increasingly popular. So what's that about? I think it's a similar situation to the Oatly situation. If veganism wasn't making a difference, people wouldn't be talking about it. And they definitely wouldn't be interested in watching videos about it. The more society adapts to make changes for animals, the more people are going to want to discuss those changes, and not everyone's going to like it. At least, at first, they might not like it, but hopefully people come around. So is veganism failing, or are all of these things just part of the struggle of a changing society that's becoming more friendly to animals? We can start to answer that by looking at some of the wins for animals in 2024. South Korea banned the dog meat trade after centuries of this cruel practice, making a historic moment for animal rights. Meanwhile, Mexico rewrote its constitution to include animal welfare, and they even added it to school curriculums. This bold move will make sure that future generations grow up with compassion for animals. Colombia banned bullfighting, ending a centuries-old tradition in the country. It seems that some countries are looking into alternatives for bullfighting, one of those being wrangling little people, which is still not great, but at least they agree to do it, at least they're paid, and at least they don't get killed afterwards. So that's progress. Over in Europe, Romanian lawmakers voted to phase out fur farming by 2027, targeting the industries that abuse and kill chinchillas and minks. In Australia, the parliament passed a law to ban the export of live sheep by 2028. The UK did something similar, bringing in a ban on the export of animals for slaughter. These acts are aiming to eliminate the suffering and distress caused by putting animals in these trucks and sending them on days-long trips to other countries. That's a big win for animal welfare, and it seems like more countries may be following suit. New York banned wildlife killing contests. Washington became the first state to ban octopus farming. Politicians like Tulsi Gabbard, who is a vegan, and Vivek Ramaswamy, who is a vegetarian, are challenging the status quo by choosing to eat animal-free and meat-free diets for ethical reasons. Just a few months ago, Vivek even tweeted out calling for conservatives to make animal cruelty an important issue for their politics. The corporate world is also adapting. The fast food giant McDonald's is now using 100% cage-free eggs in all of its locations across the USA. Now, with cage-free and caged chickens, obviously cage-free is better, but it's sort of like someone offering you a massage or a beating before they abuse you and kill you. Taking a massage is obviously better than taking a beating, but you're still going to get abused and killed. All of these chickens, caged or not, will be abused and killed. But the fact that multi-billion-dollar companies are making decisions with animals in mind is something. Even traditional dairy companies like Bell Group, which produces the Baby Bell cheeses, have been looking into animal-free fermented cheese alternatives and investing in it. And the globally renowned chocolate spread Nutella also released a plant-based animal-free version of their chocolate spread in 2024. These shifts show that animal-friendly alternatives are no longer just a niche market, and actually they're breaking the mainstream. Also in fashion, we're seeing massive changes. Brands like Victoria's Secret have replaced real feathers with synthetic animal-free feathers for their shows, and the London Fashion Week banned exotic animal skins. The mainstream is finally starting to catch on with what vegans have been saying for years, that animal abuse isn't fashionable. And in the midst of these huge anti-vegan influencers that seem to be gaining more and more popularity every day, we have massive vegan influencers online, such as Humane Vision and Lifting Vegan Logic, both of which are reaching tens of millions of people regularly with pro-vegan, pro-animal content. This proves that there is still a massive audience for animal advocacy and that more people than ever are interested in veganism and animal rights. And while it's true that vegan restaurants and brands may be struggling, the supermarket shelves are still packed to the brim with incredible animal-free alternatives. When you put all this together, the message is pretty clear. The principles behind veganism, justice for animals, compassion, and animal rights are winning in ways that are reshaping our world. Governments, industries, and culture are beginning to align with these values. Veganism isn't dying, it's shifting and evolving. And while that shift will always come with challenges, it also comes with progress. The question is, will you be part of this change? Switching to an animal-free diet is the most powerful decision you can make to make the world a better place for animals. You can find out more information on how to do that down in the pinned comment. And if you're a vegan, go into 2025 with hope for the future. 2025 is a year to double our efforts and fight to make a change for animals. Together, we can and we are making a difference. And if you want to help me with my vegan and animal rights work, check out the David Rams Patreon and YouTube teams in the description.